Hey everyone, it's Alex, and if you're watching this tutorial, we're just going to be talking about importing and exporting footage in Adobe Premiere CC 2025. There's a couple different ways to do this depending on the situation. You may have shot your footage with a camera that has an SD card, in which case you can, attach the card to the computer, either with the port or a card reader. I'm just doing that right now, sticking my card into the side slot here. And what will happen is you should see something pop up. There it is right there. And also on the side here, it'll be a device. Mine is a Lumix camera. I go inside the DCIM folders, usually where the footage is, 100 pana. And this was something I shot actually at a event recently. Just some footage. But anyway, I'm actually not going to use this footage. I just wanted to show you the first thing to do, of course, is bring the footage in whichever way you need to do it. So I'm going to eject my Lumix. And instead, what I like to do is I actually want to airdrop, because sometimes, especially with my students in my CBU classes, you guys might be shooting with your iPhones or your Androids. And so, in which case, you take your footage and you just do an airdrop. So I'm going to go ahead and airdrop just for an example here. Got my phone, 2 files, video files. There we go. Coming along here, this is from when I went to Disney California Adventure with my sons, and they were really enjoying it. This was the light show. Now notice, because I'm sharing it with my MacBook Pro, it didn't ask for permission. It just already knew we were part of the same iCloud. So that should be fine. Okay, so I got my 2 clips. These are just example clips. The really nice light show there. So what I want to do now is I will go ahead and open Adobe Premiere 2025. Okay, launch the program. And again, there might be other ways you bring footage in. It might be Google Drive. Whatever it is, just get the material on to the computer. Oh, another thing before we even do this, what I would recommend, now that I have my material here, is I probably want to move it to its destination. I've already made a folder here in my CBU folder called Test 4. So Test 4 is a nice little location, because I've done a couple other tests, so I'm calling it Test 4. And I'm just going to drop those in there. I recommend you always make a master folder to put your material in, and that's where you're going to save your project also. Okay, now I'm back in Premiere here. Okay, and I'm just going to do this nice little new project tab here. Give it the name Test 4, because I already have a Test 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and you can choose a location, and I'm going to go ahead and choose that Test 4 folder. Okay, so I'm going to go select, create, and so I have these 2 files here if I wanted to access them conveniently here. By the way, on the side here, you can see you can go to different folders just to choose, if you're looking for your material elsewhere. In my case, again, it's just right in that Documents, CBU, Test 4 folder if I wanted to grab the material and access it that way. Okay. You can also access it from iCloud or Google Drive. You can also do thumbnails or a list here. There's a couple things on the side here, organize media. So if you wanted to, you could click this and you can actually import it into a bin, give the bin a name if you wanted to. Okay. You can also copy the media. This is sort of more like in a program like Avid or so forth, if you wanted to actually copy over the media itself rather than have it be in that original folder and then you're just linking to it. You can also create a new sequence. I'm opting to, we'll talk about this in a minute, but anyway, if you wanted to, you could just give the name sequence 1 or the date or whatever. Some of this other stuff, language, I would just hold off on that. That's stuff you can always add later. But this is a way you could bring the footage in, and you just choose your clips, holding shift here, and do import. Okay? But let's say I want to do it a different way. I'm going to do skip. And I just bring in, or I just open up my project without bringing it in. Right? That's okay. I still have this import media button down here, which I can click. This is the area where we imported our media. I can also do File, Import, and bring it in that way. Or if I wanted to, I could just come here to my test4 folder, and I can just drag both of them in. Again, you can hold Shift to select both. Double-click one of them, either one. And I now have my material in Adobe Premiere. Now, if you know me from teaching my courses, I always like to organize, and immediately I might do a new bin and just say like raw footage, right? Put the material in there. You might have other folders. You'll eventually have music and sound effects and so forth. I also want to create my first sequence. There's no sequence right now. Now I could do File, New, and go up to Sequence, and I could actually manually do it that way. But there's actually a very quick way to do it, especially if I'm bringing in footage from my iPhone or footage from my Android, and I just want to use the same settings, basically. So I just grab either one of these clips, drag it over to the area where the timeline is, where the sequence will be, and let go. And as you can see, it generates a new sequence. Now, it gave it the name of that file I dragged in, so I don't want to do that because that will confuse me. I can tell it's a sequence from the little icon, but I don't want to get confused later. So I'm just going to say sequence 1 or SEQ1, whatever you want to do. Some people like to, again, put the date. Whoops. And then I'm going to click this footage and just hit delete because, of course, I want to do my mark in and mark out and start assembling my cut, right? So this is and by the way, I'm going to drag this out of raw footage. I don't want it in there. I want it outside of the raw footage folder. So, drag it down. There we go. So I have my raw footage, my sequence 1, and then I could go ahead and I can start actually editing my production. Now this is just, again, sort of a collection of clips of the light show. So it's, just for example purposes. Let's say I do my mark in, mark out. I do a couple pieces of the video here. Mark in, mark out. Drag it down. Again, you could hit the insert button. Just kind of going along here. Stretch this out a bit. I have my movie now. Whatever it's going to be. Just a sort of montage of clips. Okay, again, this is just for argument's sake here. And whenever you are done, you're assembling your cut, however long that is, there's going to come to a point where you're going to want to export. Okay? So Premiere makes it very easy now. It actually has the export button right here. You could go to File as well, but Export brings up the export panel, okay? The first thing I want to do is click on Location, this big kind of blue destination here. Click that. I'm going to go to CBU, Test 4, Save. Okay, so that's going to choose the destination for my video. I also want to give it a name, probably not Sequence 1, right? I'm going to just call it, light show clips, whatever, Okay, down here, to make things very simple, I'm just trying to keep this basic for now for you guys. If you go under video, hit the little caret to expand it and click match source. See how it says custom? That will just match the source clip. I do recommend if you're shooting with an iPhone or an Android that you do turn off HDR because that can create some situations with lighting and export settings being different. So ideally, you have HDR off and shooting. Unless you're doing something for TikTok or another vertical style video service, you probably want to shoot horizontally. And I'm shooting 24 frame if you want to have that movie look, 24 frames per second. So anyway, I'm matching source. And now it's just a matter of, again, you could come up here. And by the way, just so you know, there's other settings you could choose. There's also, if I didn't do custom, I could have come down here and I could have chosen a preset. If you click more presets, you can even select the YouTube, search for it in the search bar, YouTube preset. There's a 1080, there's a 4K version. So especially if it's going to go to YouTube, your video, this is a very convenient way to do it. If you didn't do this, it's still okay. When you do upload to YouTube, the footage with the iPhone or Android or whatever smartphone you're using settings, it'll still eventually convert it through YouTube, but this is just a way to kind of cut out the middleman, if you will. But I'm going to leave it on custom, keep it very simple by clicking match source. That's how I got custom. We did our destination. Make sure this says entire source, so that's the entire video. If you did in to out, that would be if you did a mark in, mark out. There's also the work area you could select. But I'm going to do entire source. And then down here, I could do send to media encoder. Now, what does that mean? That means it's going to open a separate program called media encoder. And that's if you have a lot of exports at once. You can queue them up and you can do them back to back. And the great thing about that is you can keep working in Premiere while you're exporting in the background. But if you just want to export this kind of one quick video, you just go ahead and click export. Okay, and it should go into that same folder. Again, keep everything together, organized. That's the way I like it, and then you don't miss anything. You open up your project and something is moved. If everything's in the same folder, even if you move that master folder, you should be okay if you keep it all together. So let's go ahead and click export. You'll see a little progress bar. Okay. And we'll give it a moment here. See a little message here. And if I go back, I should see my light show clips. There it is. And I can play my video now. Okay, again, I was just playing around with footage here. So that's it. That's how to do basic exporting in Premiere. There's a lot more to it if you're going to do different types of deliverables, as they say, for different situations. But this will get you through if you shot something with an SD card or something, footage on Google Drive or something on your phone. You just want to bring it in. You just want to put it together and export it with some of the same settings as the camera you shot. It's as easy as using Match Source. So I hope you appreciate this tutorial, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot.